Hi Retro Gamers, how are you doing? In this video I'm going to talk about 3 games that I used to play in the arcades. These games aren't well known, they are all released in the home consoles at some point, but some of these ports are different from the arcade version. But before you start, if you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. In Sector X. In Sector X is a horizontal scrolling shooter developed by Hot Hand and released in the arcades by Taito in 1989. We control a miniature human fighting through hordes of bees, snails, praying mantis, and other creatures. The game begins in Egypt. Later stages take us through a glass field, a city, a sewer, a jungle, and finally a fortress. The arcade version, our character is a cute little character named Hanmar. As you can see in the video, the graphics are good. There are games in the genre with better graphics at the time, but in my opinion the graphics are more than enough. The bosses and some enemies have fun facial expressions. The gameplay as usual in this type of game, we shoot some enemies to gain power-ups. In this case, the enemies that gave us the power-ups are big bees. Each stage ends with a typical boss fight. From stage 3 the game gets a lot harder, with harder enemies and bosses. But the harder thing was, when you lose a life we also lose all the power-ups, and losing all the power-ups before a boss was very complicated. The music was good, the sound effects were also good and funny. The game is also ported for the Sega Genesis and the NES, but with many differences. The Genesis version, even the main character is totally different. He looks like a Power Ranger. The graphics are also different, and seems to have a darker tone. The hero's name this time is Kai, who equipped with a jetpack and a mask. The enemies are more realistic as the Sega Genesis could produce. The end result is not bad, but not as good as the arcade. The Famicom port is much closer to the original arcade version, although its object doesn't look as nice. Again, it features a different hero, allowing the player to choose between a male and a female. You also can choose the difficult level. The female character is meant to be easy mode, because she's most powerful, with a rapid fire weapon. Hammering Harry. Hammering Harry was an arcade game released in 1990, developed by Aiden and published by Atlus. I started playing this game because the sound of the hammer hitting the enemies was very satisfying, and reached the point of being addictive. No, I wasn't a kid with problems. I have a very happy and healthy childhood, but the sound of the hammer hitting the enemies was very good. Okay, you don't believe me? Okay, please listen to this. Like many arcade games, particularly ones from Arent, Harry can only take a single hit before dying, sending him back to the most recent checkpoint. The game was tough, but not as tough as the early Arent titles such as Ninja Spirit or Legend of the Hero. Unthankful, unlike R-Type for example, the checkpoints are close to each other, so we are only sent back a few screams. Like many games in the genre, we find power-ups like helmets, which can absorb a single hit, which allow us to swing the hammer in the circle, also a power-up that grants us extra big hammer. The game only have 6 stages, and we finish all the stages in 30 or 35 minutes. The game was challenging, without being extraordinarily hard. The graphics are very good for the time of the release, with excellent sprite work, with large and expressive characters and detailed involvement. The music was also good, and the theme song is catchy. Hammering Harry was also released for the NES. It was a pretty good port. The action is fast, the controls are right, the graphics are decent, and even have the voice samples. In this version we can take 3 hits before getting killed, making the game much easier. There are only 5 levels rather than 6, and many segments from the arcade game have been cut out. The NES was the only port of the arcade game, because the Super Nintendo, Game Boy and later the PlayStation Portable has totally different games, but with the same main character. City Connection. City Connection is maybe the most popular game in this video because many people play it in the original NES. In this game we control a car, and with that car we travel to 12 scrolling stages. All stages on famous locations across the world, including Japan, China and Paris for example. After we finish the 12 stages, the game will simply loop back to the first stage. To clear each stage we must paint over all the roads by driving across them, changing the pavement color from white to green, black to pink or yellow, depending on the stage. The car can jump to reach higher levels of the stages. We have always police cars after us, and we must avoid them. The stages have many oil cans. We can shoot these oil cans at the police cars to temporarily stun them and knock them off the stage by ramming into them. If the player remains on the same stages for an extended period of time, spikes will endure from the ground, instantly causing losing a life. One of the techniques that we must master is to jump right on the edge of each platform, so that the floor of that platform is completely painted and we don't have to go back. The music in this game is very addictive, but not as addictive as the gameplay. This game is very simple, but very fun. After so many years I still play this game sometimes. Despite the obvious downgrade, the NES version is a decent port, with good music and plenty of fun. So gamers, did you play any of these games back in the day? Please let me know in the comments. Take care.